the D word, it feels good to be back on stage. I would like to I would like to say welcome to everyone, our guests and our role takers, and our fellow Toastmasters to another week of Mercury. I would just like to remind you of the three rules that we have, which are avoid talking in politics, avoid offending anyone, no cussing, and do not talk in religion or sex. Okay? And I would like to call the meeting to a start. Ms. President, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Khalid, for this very warm introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our first semi-physical meeting. Well, I know that the current situation in the country isn't really helping us, and there are a lot of road closures. We have corona, and not everybody could make it to the meeting. But even with that, we decided that we are going to hold our first semi-physical meeting because we need to move on with our lives, and we really miss our beehive. So thank you everyone for attending this lovely meeting. But I want to clarify how we will be proceeding with semi-physical meetings, just so that everybody knows. We have been attending in Beehive for some time, every Tuesday, but only the role takers and the cabinet will be present in this venue, so that we have some social distancing. But at the same time, we give a chance to the role takers and the members to have like some sense of normal in our life, and to go back to giving speeches on a stage in front of a small audience until we could come back to the venue, all of us. So we will be gradually increasing the number of the people who will be attending as the situation becomes better. And we will be informing you via email or on our social media platforms. Now, for those of you who don't know what Toastmasters is an international organization that promotes public speaking. So as a member, when you decide to join, you will get a mentor who will help you train on your public speaking and leadership skills. We come to this meeting, we deliver our speeches and our roles, and then after the meeting, we get evaluated, a very constructive evaluation to help us improve for the next time. So this is basically our asset. We have experienced members who help new members become better with evaluation and training. Now, without further ado, let us start with this meeting. Today, we have our Toastmaster of the evening, Digant Nital, who will be leading this session. So help me welcome on stage Digant.
Thanks, Soraya. Am I audible to everyone over there?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, and even dogs are able to hear me probably in the background. Well, has anyone heard about Magna Carta? I need a raise of hands for anyone, those who have heard about Magna Carta. Magna Carta.
No.
Just a second. Yeah, this is the one. Magna Carta was introduced in Britain earlier in its history, and that was a document that guaranteed freedom for everyone. And there was one thing related to international Magna Carta, something that is known as International Magna Carta, which was the thing that was connected to a lady. Yes, friends, a lady. Since a long time, many people thought that a woman can't make a difference, but this lady was one of the examples, one of those many ladies who have actually made a mark on the history of the world. And she was none other than the former First Lady of United States of America. Her name was Eleanor Roosevelt. She was the person who helped out in drafting the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the thing which is a document which is called as International Magna Carta, a thing which is the strongest voices for human rights all across the globe, from UTC 14 time zone plus 14 time zone to UTC minus 12 time zone, all the world. And apart from Eleanor Roosevelt, there are many other inspirations, not only in the center stage of the world, but also in our day-to-day lives. So friends, stay with me throughout this meeting while we have a look at how beautiful and brave, as well as the ladies who have good leadership, they made a mark on the world through their own leadership. Since history has it that not only now, but earlier also, woman was and is, as well as will always be, one of the forces of good leadership and one of the forces of history. So with this, help me welcome on the screen the timer for the meeting. Sorry, before I move ahead, let me explain you the structure of the meeting. First, we will be having the prepared speech segment in which the speakers will come on the screen or on the stage and will present a specific duration prepared speech for which they have prepared earlier. After that is the session which I call as the icebreaker session, the friendliest session of any Toastmasters meeting, the table topics session, in which impromptu, then and there, a person will be given a topic and you all will be given a topic and you will be told to speak your views about, express your views about it in 1 to 2 minutes. After that, is the last session, but I will say the most important session of any Toastmasters meeting. Friends, I can bet any amount of money if that session is not there in any Toastmasters meeting in any way or the other. Honestly speaking, you will, that session, that meeting is not a Toastmasters meeting at all. That session, this session is called the general evaluation session, in which everything that will happen throughout the meeting, everything, presidential address, me, other role players, everything will be evaluated by a team of evaluators. So with this, without taking much time, help me welcome on the screen the timer for the day, Toastmaster Kareem.
Excuse me again, but I will be the timer of the day. And ladies and gentlemen, and I will be your timer for the day. First, for the timing introduction, which will be pure impromptu, I'm going to go with the quote that I love about time, which is for John F. Kennedy. Time does not stand still. Change is the law of life. And those who only look at the past or the present are certain to miss the future. This is indeed one of my favorite quotes of all time because it helps me realize that change is permanent. Change is the only uncertainty in this world. Yes, John Kennedy is not a female. Yes, we are talking about females in this meeting, and John Kennedy is obviously a male. But, Bob, for your timing rules, And Sarah, for our speakers tonight, your timing rule. I will be raising the green flag for 5 minutes, the yellow flag for 6 minutes, and the red flag at 7 minutes. And speakers, you have 30 seconds of grace to wrap up your speech. I want you, speakers, to remember that time is the only thing that is stopping you from achieving the impossible. So use these 7 minutes and 30 seconds wisely. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thanks, Toastmaster Khalid, and glad you volunteered for the position instead of position. Now, help me welcome on the screen the grammarian for the meeting. But before calling him on the screen, he told me that his elder sister is a role model for him. And she was the one who made her own life and groomed herself and led a really nice life. So help me welcome on the screen the grammarian for the meeting, Toastmaster Karim.
All right, can you all see me well? Can you hear me?
Yes,
All
you
right.
are audible, Toastmaster Karim.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen from all corners of the world. My name is Karim Kahali, and I would like to thank every single attendee tonight tremendously for being here once again, supporting us on another evening special with Mercury Toastmasters. The topic of the day, her success. When dissecting the topic of the most influential leaders in the history of man, great names like Albert Einstein and Martin Luther King and many others never fail to strike and steal the show with their huge achievements that still transcend to this very time. However, unfortunately, a lot of those most decorated women sometimes get overshadowed. The greatest woman that walked the earth. Number one, you've got Marie Curie, the first woman to win a Nobel Prize. Number two, you've got Amelia Earhart, the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean. And number three, finally, the very first English grammarian, Amy Fishers, the first grammarian to revolutionize the grammar game in the late 70s. Now that the prelude is done, I would like to announce that I will be your grammarian for tonight. And concerning the word of the day, thank you. So it will be a resonate. And what will we do if we hear someone using the word of the day? We will, thank you, perfect. 100%. So resonate, what does it mean? To actually produce an emotional effect on someone. So as instance, feminism resonates with current political and sociocultural issues. Now, throughout the meeting, I will be monitoring the good usage of grammar compositions, and at the same time, I will also be noting all grammar mistakes. Do not forget to use the word of the day for extra credit. Thank you all, and back to you, Toastmaster Dick. Thank you.
Thanks, Toastmaster Karim. This was really, in fact, really an inspirational introduction, I would say. And really it resonated with my theme also. Now, help me welcome on the screen the half master for the day. But before I call her on the screen, she told me that she once led a uni class and taught them a semester's content, friends, a semester's content in just 2 hours. Although she didn't consider herself to be a best leader, but there she was better than a lecturer. So help me welcome on the screen the hut master for the meeting, Toastmaster Sarah.
Hello everyone, can you hear me? So I'm on stage too. I couldn't be in Beehive, but I'm here, and I have a small stage. So for tonight, I'll give you some hacks to be better in public speaking. I would say first to smile. Try to add a smile, even if you are bored. A smile will make everyone more interested in what you are saying. And they will listen to you more carefully. Second, know your audience. Know that your audience are from different backgrounds. And because of that, try to simplify, to make your topics simple and more common between people. Do not try to translate. Do not try. Okay. Do not try to explain Einstein's theory, for example. Third, respect everyone. By respecting everyone, I mean avoid writing in the chat box while someone is talking, because it will frustrate everyone and everyone will start thinking about participating in the chat box or listening to the person who's speaking. And by respecting, I mean even don't talk in a language that not everyone can understand. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Toastmaster Sala. Friends, do you ever think that all the sci-fi movies that we watch, what is the one thing that is always talked about after fingerprints? That is DNA. And here also, behind a good theory of DNA, there was a woman. Her name was Rosalind Franklin. She was a photographer. She provided a photograph as a crucial piece of evidence for existence of double helical structure of DNA. Yes, the same DNA that we all have, same DNA which has led to test tube babies, as well as the same DNA which has led to a global genome project. Not to ignore the investigations that we see on the web series. So help me welcome now that we are starting the prepared speech segment for the meeting. Let me call the first speaker. But before calling the first speaker, let me tell you, when I asked about the opinion, what he felt, that who is the good leader, and literally friends, I can bet, I can really swear on anything that I asked him nearly 3 times. He every time gave me the same answer, that he found inspiration in the president of our club, Toastmaster Surya. And that's really a great gesture on his part also, that he was so struck on that thing. So help me welcome on the screen first the evaluator of Toastmaster Ibrahim, Toastmaster Marijo. Toastmaster Marijo.
Hello, thank you, Digan. So for Brahim's objectives, he will be delivering his speech objectives. He will be delivering from level 1, project 3, researching and presenting. The objective of his speech is to choose a topic, research it, and give a speech about it for 5 to 7 minutes. So I'm looking forward for your speech, Brahim, especially that it's live, so it's been a long while. So back to you, Digan.
I missed out the title of Toastmaster Ibrahim's speech. Can anyone, can I be told about the title?
We can't hear you, Brahim.
Uh,
No, it's muted. Okay, now it's unmuted.
Test. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, tell us your title because Digan doesn't.
All right. The title of the speech is "How in the World Did We Get Here?"
how?
How in the world did we get here? By Ibrahim Nasser. Yes.
So, Toastmaster Ibrahim, how in the world we get here? How in the world we get here? Toastmaster Ibrahim. All the best.
40% of the people are living in poverty. 20% of the people are living in extreme poverty, living under $4 a day. Now, when you hear these figures, you think of impoverished countries in Africa, maybe in Asia, or in Latin America. But the reality is, these numbers are from the Lebanese Ministry of Social Affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Mercurians, Lebanon and its economy have fallen into a ditch that they may never be able to recover from. And as we see the dollar rate exceed 9,000 Lebanese liras, as the Agence France Presse shows us images of impoverished citizens who cannot fill up their fridges with the food they need to survive, we need to ask ourselves, as Lebanese, how in the world did we get there? Now, to be real here, politics and ideology are essential in discussing this topic. However, this is not in the scope of Toastmasters. So I'm going to be taking a socio-economic approach, looking back at history, as I hope that this speech where we search for answers is, despite it being somber, a sobering look at how we ended up where we are. So ladies and gentlemen, and especially the Lebanese of us, put on your seatbelts. This is gonna be a tough one. Now, our investigation starts in the 17th century, back in the days of Amir Fakhreddin II. Now, Fawaz Trabulsi, author of the seminal work, The History of Modern Lebanon, tells us of how Amir Fakhreddin introduced silk into the Lebanese economy. The production and the manufacturing of raw silk and silk dresses would end up driving the economy of Mount Lebanon within the Ottoman Empire for over 300 years. Add to that a vibrant agricultural sector producing cereals, livestock, and tobacco, and an industrial sector that at its height in the 1940s had just two of its sectors, which were cotton spinning and tannery, surpassing the income rate of tourism by 2.5 times. And we see that us Lebanese, we had a vibrant agricultural and industrial production sector. So what went wrong? The answer is simple: the overgrowth of the tertiary economies. You see, after the Second World War, Lebanon decided to become an intermediary between East and West. We would connect our the oil economies in the Arab world with the Western world, Europe, the US. And our leaders, they saw profit, they saw dollar signs. So the tertiary economy started to grow. Real estate, tourism, trade, banking. But what happened to the production economies? Well, they were subverted and subjected to the whims and desires of the ruling oligarchy at the expense of the needs of the people. Add to that the large amount of importing that took place and how our industrialists and farmers had to produce for export, and any hope of a self-sustaining economy went down the drain. Now, talking about self-sustainability is important, but it is not enough. So let's fast forward a bit to the 1990s. We had just gotten out of a horrible civil war, and the government wanted to rebuild. It wanted to send a signal of confidence both to its people and to its investors. And it wanted to stop currency speculation, a speculation which Hans Baumann, the writer of the book Citizen Hariri, described as a national sport that benefited the cartels that encouraged it, but wiped out the savings of the normal people. Just like what's happening right now. So with all of that in mind, the government decided, hey, let's anchor the Lebanese lira to the US dollars. And so they did, at a value of 1,500 Lebanese liras to the dollar. The well-known account, the official account. What ended up happening is the following. The economy stabilized, but the economy stabilized, but the inflation, but the interest rates got up, skyrocketed, and so did our debt. After that, our government deciding to be rulers, they would decide our government would be used as a clientelist vehicle. That would be basically used to curry favor, it would be used to buy votes. And meanwhile, our banks, they decided, hey, lots of interest rate, lots of money, let's lend the government. All of that mismanagement of our funds came to bite us in the behind. So we've talked about self-sustainability, we've talked about mismanagement of funds, but we can talk about the rules all we want. If we do not talk about what we did wrong, we'd be missing the point of this. We've drunken our own Kool-Aid, ladies and gentlemen. We like to think of ourselves as the seafaring, open, unbelievably intelligent and tolerant people who are independent. But rest assured, we are not. As Kamal Salibi's book, A House of Many Mansions, very lucidly describes, we have always been at an identity crisis, a sectarian identity crisis, to be exact, between a group of people that views Lebanon as a piece of the West in the Middle East, and a group of people who see it as inseparable from its Arab counterparts. And as much as we like to think of ourselves as tolerant and open, well, we're not. We're actually dependent, intolerant people who depend on both internal and external actors and end up just fighting over nonsense rather than stimulating our brains in order to do anything. So yeah, we've messed up with our economy. Now I know my time is up, but I need to get this message out of the way a little bit. To be honest, guys, I don't know where we're going. As you can see, my voice is somber. And that's because I'm heartbroken. I'm heartbroken at seeing our generations work, our futures, gone to waste. I'm worried about my mother, who's reaching her old age, and I'm worried that she might not be able to have a proper life after working so hard to make sure that my brothers and I and my sister were able to have a proper life. And I'm worried about my farewell countrymen. I'm preparing for immigration. I'm hoping for immigration. I want to get out of here, to be honest. But even with all of that, somber outlook for the future, even in those darkest times, the strongest wills prevail. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our last chance. It is put up or shut up time. And I am coming closer and closer to the screen because this is important. It is now or never. Now's our chance to learn from our mistakes. Now is our chance for us to try and save this country, to make sure we never repeat our mistakes. And I hope that this speech is a catalyst. I hope that this is just one small contribution that could push me and push you into action. Mr. Toastmaster.
That was really a very impactful speech by Toastmaster Ibrahim, I must really say. And more impactful is the next lady that I'm going to talk about. No, friends, I'm not talking about the next speaker, but a lady who has a lot of things in common, has a very big thing in common with the next speaker. That is the first female Prime Minister of Britain, Lady Margaret Thatcher. yes, Britain has been also sometimes little bit conservative in past, but Lady Margaret Thatcher changed history, or I can say wrote the history when she came back as the first female prime minister. And things were not easy for her since political disharmony was there, economic recession was also, and more importantly, a thing that still resonates in the history of Britain, the conflict in Northern Ireland was also there. But the brave lady braved each and every trouble, and she proved herself as a good leader. Now, there is similarity. Okay, so friends, there is a feedback form posted in the chat. You can give the feedback to the speaker. So by the time you write the feedback, I am continuing with certain content. Our next speaker, like the other leaders, she held a good leadership position in other communities, not just only in Toastmasters. And even in Toastmasters, apart from being the treasurer of this, she also made it a mark on area level by helping out in a committee that was working for organizing the area level contest. So, but before calling Toastmaster Sarah on the screen, let's hear from her evaluator, Toastmaster Khalid, about her speech objectives. Toastmaster Khalid. Um, it is mute. Yes, Toastmaster Khalid, it is mute. Okay.
Well, for the third time today, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, everyone, and good evening, Sarah Hashim. It's about time. I am thrilled to hear your icebreaker. I can see your face on camera. Yes, the camera is a bit small, but I can definitely see that face. You are excited, you are ready, you are here to light up the stage and finally break the ice with our 15 to 16 viewers in this stream. Sarah Hashim, the stage is yours, and I will be here to evaluate you.
So help me welcome on the screen Toastmaster Sarah Hashim. Toastmaster Sarah Hashim, a journey to my true self, a journey to my true self, Toastmaster Sarah Hashim.
Hello guys, don't start timing me because actually since we live in Lebanon and the electricity just a few minutes back there, it just went off. So I had to record my speech earlier today. So I'm gonna share my screen and hope you enjoy my speech. Thank you in advance and please let me know if my speech, okay, I'm gonna share, okay. Are you seeing it?
Yes, we can, sir.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A few months ago, a family attack. Okay, just 1 second because I'm having some technical difficulty. Just a second. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A few months ago, a pandemic invaded the whole world, killing thousands of people, leaving a lot of families distracted, and locking millions of people in their houses. It's ironic how I have to thank the same pandemic today, because it made this following journey possible, even in the darkest days. Tonight, I'm going to use this online platform to take you on a tour, to introduce you to the real me. Shall we start? Follow me, please. It was October the 15th. 2.9 kilometer weight, 49 centimeters high, the small child came to life. She was the first bundle of joy to this adorable couple. I can't call myself to be the easiest child to deal with. Well, between you and I was really stubborn. But I grew up to become a distinguished student. High grades, a rule follower, and a real giver. So I've been told. So I guess somehow this balanced the equation, right? So no good feeling. But suddenly, out of nowhere, the 12th grade monster bumped into my face. It was a combination of fear and identity loss. It kept asking me questions that I couldn't answer. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And the worst, who are you? This last one just threw me in a deep, deep well of negative thoughts. But fortunately, I found a rope called hope hanging there. So I used it to climb back on top and ended up by winning the Pin de l'École, which was the school's pride back then. It was such an honor. After this, I was so ready for college. A fresh new start, a new me, and a new experience ahead. You think from then, life was about to become as easy as a pie. Well, guess again. It was not. Because having to work while studying in 2 majors just left me with absolutely no energy at all. It was so weird when I decided to volunteer in the Red Cross and decided to join the Lebanese Youth Department in 2013, the Emergency Medical Services in 2018, and many other communities since then. It was illogical because you can't pour from an empty cup. But the result was very, very surprising. Because actually I didn't restore my energy until I started volunteering. They say that you have to give in order to receive. Kind of makes sense right now. Well, my journey didn't stop here. So I kept walking and walking until I accidentally landed in Mercury. As a guest for the second time only, I was honored to be voted as the best table topic speaker of the evening. From then, I was welcomed aboard
to not only a public speaking club, but to also a loving and supportive family. I love you all. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our tour for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. Long story short, life is like a roller coaster ride. It has its ups and its downs, but the destination is worth taking the effort. So what are you waiting for? Just go for it. But remember to always embrace yourself, love yourself, work hard on yourself, and most importantly, stay true to yourself. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A few months ago, a pandemic invaded the whole world.
That was really a great speech by Toastmaster Sarah.
Thank you.
I must now really say that apart from applauding in the middle of a speech 2 times minimum, this was really a very inspirational. And
Thank
I must say, I'm really looking forward to all the future speeches from your side. No matter if I'm TMOD or no matter if I'm just an audience.
Thank you so
Timer.
much.
Now it's the time for timer to tell the timing of both the speeches. Timer, may I know the timing for both the speeches?
Both timers, both speakers are eligible for voting.
Okay. Can we have the voting link?
Yes, one moment. Just didn't let us give some feedback before, and I will share the voting ballot in 30 seconds.
Feedback form is there in the chat. We can give the feedback. Please.
And please let me know if it's still not filling up, because I didn't find any problem with it. But Kamal was saying that it's not. We weren't able. Okay, it's working. Thank you, Kamal. Okay.
Friends, meanwhile, as the voting as well as feedback forms are getting ready and being filled, let me share with you about a lady who was actually an inspiration about whom I can never stop seeing her video of success. Yes, and such I would like everyone to read about this lady also. It was 1485 in England, near Bosworth. A lady was intently praying that things get in the favor of her son, who was fighting a battle on the battlefield of Bosworth Field. This lady gave birth to her first child and the only child, and in a very young age. Although I am not a student of medical science, but what I was told was after that, it was nearly impossible or very difficult for the young girl to give birth to another child. But her dedication was there. Since it was 15th century, we are talking about, England was really very conservative. In order to succeed, it was said that in order for a lady to succeed, the only person that can help is her husband. And being single, being widower, or being a divorcee was one of the things that was not an appreciable thing. But the lady kept on with her determination. She fought with every sort of political problem that was in front of her, because she was from a very low nobility rank. Very low nobility rank means you have to make it to the top, so you will have to climb hard. But then also she braved, and that was one of the most tumultuous years of not only her life, but of the English history also. Yes, the War of Roses. But the thing that happened after that lady's determination, after that lady's prayer, and after that lady's good wishes to her son was she was, after that battle, the mother of mother of England's king. I'm talking about Lady Margaret Beaufort. I hope we all can take inspiration from her also in various ways. With this, since her life was also a table topics in itself, let's start. May I know that all the voting link has been done or not? All have been collected? Okay, so let's proceed with the next section. And before calling the table topic master on the screen, he told me that most of the female friends that he has, they are all very strong. I can really count 2 to 3, since 2 to 3 are from the club itself. But other than those, he knows the better count. So help me welcome on the screen the table topic master for the meeting, Toastmaster Kamal Khasab. Toastmaster Kamal Khasab.
Unmute now. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, great. So, thank you, Toastmaster of the evening, for the introduction. Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, good evening. One of the most exciting sessions of Toastmasters meeting is the table topic session. The main objective is to challenge members to develop their impromptu communication skills. That is to effectively think on their feet by answering unrehearsed questions. Before we start, I would like to talk about a gender equality event I participated in last year with an organization named JCI Lebanon. The event was named So Can She, and it resonates very well with today's theme. What we did was we invited children to Kids Mundo. Those of you in Lebanon know what Kids Mundo is. It's a big hall with a lot of games, and they can do jobs that adults do. And we brought in female speakers who worked jobs that are stereotypically reserved for men. So we had a surgeon, we had a car mechanic, we had a Mount Everest climber, a girl who did all sorts of stunts, a firefighter. They talked about what they did. The purpose was to encourage the children at an early age that women can choose the career they want and not to listen to the stereotypes. And the event involved, trust me, it involved a lot of public speaking. Before we continue, I would like to call on the timer, Mr. Khalid Chatila, to explain the timing rules. Mr. Khalid? Khalid Chatila, is he?
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Mercurians, Khalid is undertaking his evaluation duties. And due to that, I, Brahim Nasser, will also be your timer for this table topic session. And for the table topic session, the green flag, or in this case, the green donkey shot book, will be raised when a guest speaker has spoken for 30 seconds or when a member has spoken for a minute. The yellow book about the European Union will be raised at 1.5 minutes, and at 2 minutes, the red French book will be raised, after which there will be 30 seconds grace period. Kamal, you may now take over again, and thank you so much.
Sure. Let me remind all the speakers to pin the timer, who in this case is Ibrahim, Willerton, Thoraya Nasser, for the guests who don't know Ibrahim. And remember, the word of the day is to resonate. And I would appreciate if the grammarian can type in the name, the word of the day in the comment section with the definition after every speaker, so that they can remember to use the word of the day, resonate. Without further ado, I will start and I will share the screen. Share the screen. Screen share. Yes. Okay. This is the tabletop event I talked about. As you can see, a lot of females doing stereotypically male job. Here we have a surgeon, Lebanese Interior Forces, and an award we actually won for doing this event. Anyway, I will call on Ms. Tamara Osman, please. Tamara. Tamara, are you there?
Let me unmute her.
Yes, I'm here. I was muted. Sorry.
That's okay. We can hear you loud and clear. I'm going to share the screen, Tamara.
Okay.
For the first question, chivalry. Chivalry in the age of woman power, which is these days, should we consider chivalry to be dead? Example of chivalry, I mean, for example, when a man opens a door to a woman for her to pass, or somebody helping a woman carry her luggage, things like that, what men do as nice gestures to women. In this day and age, should we consider it dead? Is it unnecessary, in your opinion?
I don't think it's unnecessary. However, I don't think they affect the equality between men and women in any way, because it's an act of it's like a nice gesture towards someone, and it's not something that collides or prevents women from having their equal rights just as men. So I don't think they should be like eliminated or completely eliminated from our daily usage, if you want. And I think as well that women can also have acts of chivalry just like men. So for example, women can also hold the door for a man to pass. It's not something that's not allowed for women to do, or that minimizes the value of a woman. So yes, I don't think it should be eliminated from our daily life, and it doesn't really affect any aspect of equality between both men and women. Thank you.
Thank you, Tamara, for your answer. So I agree with Tamara that the woman, it would be nice for women to open the door for men and to give us the right of voice from time to time. Why not? Since we are all equal. I will call on the second speaker, Mr. Ibrahim. He is a guest. Mr. Ibrahim, can you hear me? Yeah, he can hear me, but we need to unmute him. Ibrahim, guest. I don't know your family name, sorry.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Ibrahim. Happy to have you here.
My name is Ibrahim Aqil.
Akil. Okay, Ibrahim Akil. I got that now. Ibrahim, I'm going to share the screen
Yes, sir.
and give you the question. Can you see the question?
Explain why countries with female leader.
As you know, in the time of COVID,
Okay.
countries with female leaders have done extremely well compared to countries in combating COVID-19 have done extremely well compared to countries with male leaders. For example, New Zealand, Germany, Taiwan, these have been top of the list. Why do you think that's the case?
Okay. Why the countries with female leaders doing better in dealing with COVID-19? Women, women, women. Fellow Toastmaster, distinguished guest, good evening. And thank you for this nice meeting. Actually, for the women, from my side, mainly they are dealing with the situation. First of all, emotionally, then they will decide what the sequences will be, either on them or in the people themselves. Because mainly, most of the time, females have the compassion and the empathy related what they are doing. Men, usually they are dealing with numbers, what the sequence, what I gain, what I lose. But mainly, females dealing with the situation, yeah, properly and emotionally. That's why maybe this is not maybe a good statistic, but mainly they can approach what they need, because really females to make me agree or satisfied about what the results, maybe it's more than the men, because usually men, they will challenge each other. Female, it's little flexible. That's why. Back to you.
I loved your answer, Ibrahim. So emotions will thrive and not fighting. And emotion and compassion is the way forward. Thank you for that answer.
Thank you very much.
We will go on to our next participant. Miss is also a guest, Miss Maria Ashalkuti. I did not get the name. I'm sure I did not pronounce it right, but Maria, where's Maria? Ah, Maria Ashkuti. Maria Ashkuti, yes. Can you hear? Can you speak so we can hear you?
Yeah, it's Ashkuti.
Ashkuti, Ashkuti.
Yes,
okay, so
exactly.
excuse me. It's the first time I hear it.
It's okay. It's okay. It's difficult to pronounce.
Okay, now I will not forget. I will share the screen now. And this is a challenging one for you. Can you see the question, Maria?
Yeah.
So probably you've had the situation where you've had a male friend just nagging, and he won't stop calling and he won't stop, and get him out of here. What goes through your head when you block him?
It's actually funny. This never occurred because I don't have a friend request from the start, so I never had to block someone. Like when dealing with social media, I just accept requests from people that I actually know. So when I see that someone's behavior in person isn't up to my standards, and I'm not gonna say standards maybe, but if someone's behavior is not adequate, then I won't be friends with them from the start, and so they won't get to my social media. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Maria. You've been very lucky. You're very logical. Apparently, you are very picky with who you choose and allow to be friends with. That's good news, and I hope it stays that way.
Thank you.
Our next participant is a fellow Toastmaster, Baghdad Toastmasters, Miss Rawa Adil. Miss Rawa, can you hear us? Can you unmute, Rawa? please. Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Rawa, we can hear you very clearly.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm fine. Thank you for joining us
Thank
today.
you very. Of course, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, I will share the screen now.
Okay.
I don't know if you are married or not, but suppose your present or future husband asks you to quit your job that you really love for the sake of the family. How would you reply?
Wow, this is really a great question. Well, I'm not married yet, but if I will marry in the future, before I get married the person and live with him, I will give him or set rules in the beginning before we get married, because I don't want problems in my marriage and I want to have stable life. So my job is so important, not only for me, for my husband also, to make our life easier and simple and get what we want. Okay, so for that I will deal with him and I will discuss that with him before marriage. Before marriage, I will never quit my job. So because of that, we should have give hands together and help each other to raise our family. That's only the case I can get marriage. If he will just put the responsibilities only on me, I will never marry because it's really hard and not easy by yourself, and especially you have somebody who never give you hand. So my job is important as my family, and this is my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruwa, for that answer. You have made it very clear that you are a very ambitious woman and you will make your point of views very clear from the very beginning before it's too late. And good luck with your future husband and your marriage life in the future. Our next participant is none other than our president, Ms. Thuraya Nasser. Ms. Thuraya, can you hear us? There you are, Thuraya. I like the microphone, yes. Thuraya, can you speak a little so we can hear you?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Thuraya, I will share the screen now. I know you are a computer programmer, an engineer now, but suppose you were given the choice while growing up to be either a car mechanic or a firefighter. Which job would you choose and why? Or I will rephrase the question. Suppose you need to have a second job. Which one would you do after your first job? A firefighter or a car mechanic? And why?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. To be honest, a few while ago, I was kind of reassessing my life and thinking of why did I join university and start my career as a software developer? Why not something else? And especially during Corona, those questions started to come to my mind, and I started thinking of that maybe I should explore some other alternatives and some other majors to work with. So if I had the chance to choose between mechanical engineering and being a firefighter, with my job or without my job, what would I choose? To start with, being a software developer is somehow similar as being a mechanical engineer because both require working with non-human things, computers or cars, or mechanical objects. They're simply not human. Now, to be honest, I do enjoy working with non-human objects, but at some point it is getting boring. Especially during Corona, I started feeling that I need some human interaction. I need to have some value for my life. And I think at this point, I want to go towards jobs or even volunteering activities that will help me connect to humans and to help them in having better lives or helping them with simply anything. And that's mainly why I want to be in Toastmasters, and I chose to be in Toastmasters even after I've improved my public speaking skills. And that's why at this point, I think I might go for firefighting, even though I'm afraid of fire. But I think I can work on that and face my fears just like I did with Toastmasters for the sake of being myself and overcoming those fears and helping others. So always try to be people-oriented, even when you have other things to take care of. Be people-oriented and have this part in your life where you need to help others. Thank you.
Thank you, Thoraya. It seems that you are a little bit tired of talking to machines all day, and you'd rather to have some human interaction every now and then. We will move on with our next participant, Mr. Manuel. Manuel, is he here? Have we lost him? Oh, no, he's there. Yes. Can you unmute Manuel, please? Manuel from Mexico, from those of you who don't know.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very well, Manuel.
Okay, great.
I will share the screen now.
Okay.
Manuel, what is the best compliment you ever gave to a person of the opposite sex, and how did they reply? How did she reply in your case? Can you see the screen?
No, I cannot see the screen.
No,
okay.
yes, my mistake. What is the? You can see it now, I suppose.
Yes, I can see an Excel.
Yes. Oh no, that's not the one. Excuse me. Screen sharing. Okay, now you can see it. What is the best compliment you ever gave to a person of the opposite sex, and how did they reply? Excuse me, I made a typing mistake here. How did she reply?
Okay. Okay, well, you really got me there, because for some reason I cannot think of a single compliment I have given a woman, which I have done several times. Let me just be clear, I have done it several times, but for some reason right now I can only think about the compliments women have given me. I don't know why. Maybe because we are too oriented towards women. Actually, in the question about chivalry, I remembered a few experiences I've had. But I learned to be very careful about when complimenting a woman, because sometimes it depends on her personality, how she will take it. And the eyes, always complimenting her eyes is a very good compliment. It's like a safe bet, because it's very difficult for a woman to get angry about her eyes, because, you know, eyes are beautiful, and you should tell her that to a woman. Even if she has small eyes, you should tell her she has big, beautiful eyes. And that's why when I heard the story that Wahidullah told us about that man telling a woman she had eyes like an angel, that really resonated with me, because that's a compliment. I think it's the best and it's the safest bet. But in the story he told us, that went really, really bad. But when I have told a woman, actually the first time I told a woman about her eyes, that was my first girlfriend, right after school. And she was smiling. She didn't say a thing, she just smiled and gave me a kiss. And then we went on talking, holding hands and walking, because we were leaving the school. And that went very well, actually. So that's the safest bet, and that was the best compliment I think I have given and anyone can give to a woman. Back to you, Topics Master.
Thank you, Manuel. I hope all the guys were listening carefully. I sure was listening, and I took notes. Thank you very much for the tips, Manuel. We'll let you know how it goes. Our next participant, Mr. Wahidullah. Wahidullah, can you unmute yourself?
Am I audible now?
Yes, we can hear you, Wahidullah.
Great.
I will start with the share screen. I cannot share. Yes, I can share screen now. Wahidullah, you can see the question number 7. How would you encourage children to understand that men and women are equal? When I say children, I mean children who have an understanding of what life is, so a little bit cognitive, between the ages of 9 to 12 to 13, like that. This age group. What would you do to encourage them to understand that women and men have equal rights?
Thank you. I think this is a bit difficult question in the sense that because when we are talking to the elderly people, we do not have to speak artistically that much to explain why men and women should be given equal opportunities and they are all equal because they understand logic. Aside from that, when we are speaking with a child or a child age ranged from 9 to 10 years old, they do not have that capacity to understand the logics. All they understand is emotion. So if you have to approach a child to make him or her understand about the fact that men and women are actually equal, then we need to address the emotion of the child. I believe that. We can start with the upbringing of the child. We can talk about his or her father and mother. Like, have you ever noticed that your father earns for you, on the other hand, your mother takes care of you so nicely? And if we explain what his father does for him and all the things that, all the sacrifices that he made for the betterment of his child, he will understand how important a father is. On the other hand, if you make it visible how much sacrifice a mother makes for the upbringing of his or her child, that will make it visible to the child that both father and mother have equal contribution to my upbringing. Again, if you watch a movie, children are very much into watching movies. They watch TVs and TV series and cartoons and so much. In the movie, we can always see that the hero and the heroine have similar contributions to a common goal. Like if the hero was not supported by the heroine or the heroine was not supported by the hero, they would not have been able to survive in the long run. And that is something that I believe that children catch in their subconscious mind. And if we can explain that, did you just see, if that heroine was not supported by the man, maybe he wouldn't have been able to succeed. Maybe if the hero was not supported by the other one, maybe she wouldn't have been able to succeed. So both are equally important. We need to address the emotion of the child. And I really believe that that's how a child will definitely understand that men and women are equal. Over to you.
Thank you, Wahid. As Wahid, he likes to focus on the emotions and movies. You can't go wrong with those two. Hopefully you will get the results you are seeking. Our next participant, Ms. Ghada Adel. Ghada from Baghdad Toastmasters, excuse me. Can you unmute Ghada?
Ghada Ahmed, you mean?
Yes, Ghada Ahmed, yes.
I did not hear well. Okay, unmuted.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, Ghada, we can hear you very well. I will share this. Welcome. I will share the screen now. Excuse me, just a second. Yes. Okay, Ghada. Suppose you can travel back in time and talk to yourself, to the 10-year-old Ghada. What advice would you give yourself?
That's an interesting question. Okay, if I get to go back in time and what to tell myself.
What would you, yes, what advice would you give yourself?
First of all, good evening, everyone, and thank you for the invitation. Thank you for having me in your session. If I get to go back in time to tell what to do, what to tell my younger self, I would tell her to speak up what's in her mind. I would tell her to work harder for what she wants, what she deserves, to know what's her right and claim for her right, acknowledge for her right. I would tell her that it sometimes things can be unfair, but that doesn't mean you don't get what you want. I would tell her that bad things happen, but nothing stays the same. Because in many years of my life, if I come through a hardship in some year, at the next year, at the same time in the next year, I find myself at the complete opposite. I find myself extremely thrilled with, extremely happy with very different circumstances. So I would tell her that it's okay, everything truly is going to be all right. You don't need to panic about having some problems. If you if you work so hard for something you have, but you don't get it right away, that doesn't mean you're not getting it at all. Maybe it's maybe it's just not the time for it. Maybe you'll have it like after a year or two, because everything is possible. And I would tell her that if you really have bad feelings about some person or anything, I would tell her that just feel it all so you can let it go, so you can stay a positive person. I think that's enough for many advices I gave to myself. That's a guideline, actually. So I think, yeah, that's what would I do to myself or anyone. Thank you. Back to you, Kamal.
Thank you, Ghada. Those are some words of wisdom you give to yourself. Of course, by working hard and focus, everything will be okay. Let's hope that this year will be okay as well, 2020. Our next participant from Morocco, Miss Adiba Mittour. Miss Adiba.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you.
I will share the screen, Adiba.
Okay.
Oh, wait, did not go well. I'll try again.
It's about a gift? I saw a gift.
Yes, can you see it? Can you see the screen share? Yes.
Yes.
Describe to us what is the perfect gift you have received or you think you would receive. Just give us an idea of what is the perfect gift for you.
Okay, this one really resonates with me. Fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests, if I would describe the perfect gift that I want to have, I will spend months and months and I won't finish describing it because actually I'm a dreamer. I want a lot of things, a lot of perfect things and beautiful things. So I don't think that it will be just one gift, but to respond to the disabled topic, I think that the perfect one is to have the ability to help other people that can't communicate, that can't just public speak with others. They people who have this fear of public speaking, this would be the best gift, I think, that to have this ability to spread it all over the world, and especially with people who have this fear. This one would be the best. Thank you so much, Mr. Table Topic.
Thank you, Adiba. Adiba is a true Toastmaster. She wants to help everyone overcome fear of speaking, I gather. What about, shall we have one more, Thoraya, or? I have that look, yes, yes, no, yes, no. Do we have time for one more? Okay, so I'm sorry for those who signed up, but we've just run out of time. Hopefully you'll come next week and we'll try to have you then on the table topics next week. Thank you for all the participants, all the answers. I really enjoyed all the answers, as well as all the guests and the Toastmasters here. I would like to call the timer, if it's Ibrahim now or is it Khalid? I'm not very sure. It's Ibrahim now. Okay, back to Ibrahim. Did all the speakers make it on time?
Yes, all the speakers have made it on time. I will give the names of each speaker as well as what their speech was on, in order for our guests and members to know who to vote for. So we'll start with Tamara. Is chivalry dead? Ibrahim. How women leaders fared during COVID-19 crisis. Maria. What did you feel when you unfriended or blocked someone on social media? Ru'a. If your husband came and told you to quit your job for a family, what do you do? Soraya, our dear president. Mechanic or firefighter? Manuel, best compliment for a woman. Player. Wahidullah. Teaching children that men equal women. Ghada, time traveling to your 10-year-old self. And finally, Adiba, your perfect gift. Thank you all. Back to Kamal.
Actually, I'll hand over back to our Digant, Mittal, who will take over from here. Over to you, Digant. We will go ahead with the votes. Yes, we can hear you.
I have to just check. Am I audible from here? Okay. Friends, I have been a very avid follower of British history. And I have seen that many queens got their life destroyed, or even many of them lost their life for just one single fact. Male primogeniture. The heir who will be sitting on the throne has to be a male. But history has it that Britain saw its glory in the reign of not just a king, but 3 queens. Queen Elizabeth I, the Gloriana, Queen Victoria, in whose reign sun never sets because it was so much big empire, and current queen, the incumbent queen, the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth. With this, now let me welcome on the screen the person who can be regarded as Queen of Mercury Club. But before calling her on the screen, let me tell you one thing. She was very shy before coming to Toastmasters, but now she is coordinating with international clients, communicating to them very effectively and ensuring that the projects get completed very smoothly. So now help me welcome on the screen the general evaluator for the meeting, Toastmaster Suraya Nasir.
Thank you, Digant, for giving this lovely session. So, as the general evaluator, guys, we need to move on. So, as the general evaluator, my job is to evaluate and assess the meeting, and this applies to all of the role takers as well as the speakers, in case it applies, and the general settings of the meeting. So I will be very brief, but before I give my report, I'll call upon the evaluators for the meeting, who will be evaluating the several sections. So let us start by the evaluators for the speeches. Help me welcome on stage the first evaluator for today, Mary Jo Shaheen.
Thank you so much, Soraya. So we are living in very sad, critical times. And it's important for us to be aware of the situation around us in order to take the most applicable action, the most effective action we can. And Bob Shirley Ibrahim surely helped us to be aware of what is happening around us in his 5 to 7 minute speech. So thank you so much, Bob, for accomplishing your objectives and telling us more about our situation in Lebanon. I will be dividing my speech, my evaluation, into two parts, the delivery and the content, starting with the delivery. Bob, you excelled with your gestures. It showed that you are way, way, way more comfortable on stage than on screen. It showed from your body language, it showed from your tonality, you use your gestures confidently and you are way more confident on stage. I am really happy that you were able to give the speech live, and although we had so many problems out there, which you pointed out, but I'm glad that you were able to, can you hear me? Because I think I froze, or is it Soraya that is frozen? Okay, thank you. Yes, so I was saying, thank you so much for this amazing delivery. Your gestures were on point. And your tonality is another very positive point that you use during your speech. You make sure to vary your tonality depending on how much you were serious. When you were serious, you had this grave voice. And when you were criticizing or being sarcastic about how Lebanese think of themselves, you were just changing your voice, and it's a bit changed to be sarcastic, and it really showed and gave power to your speech. These two are very positive points about your delivery. One point I think you could have improved, especially that you were in a physical meeting, with your use of the body of the stage. You did use it at one point, I saw you walk, but you can use it more effectively throughout the points. Also, one thing that I noticed, that you approached the camera in the end, which is a very positive thing to do, but do note that you are in a physical meeting, although there were like 2 or 3 maybe with you, but you need to always cater for everyone. Maybe you consider that your audience is mainly online, but do look also at Soraya, at Khalid, at Karim. I think these were the role takers with you, because they are part of the audience as well. As for your content, you surely accomplished your objectives. You stated facts. You started your introduction by saying 40% of people are poor, and the other statistics. And you did state your references. For example, you mentioned a book, A House of Many Mansions, I think that was the name, and several other books as well. So you did mention references, which is very highlighted in the project in Pathways to use references. So it was great. And the structure of your speech was very well written. So you started with some history a very long time ago, then you transitioned transitioned very smoothly to another part, which is more recent history post Civil War, wrapping it up at the end with the current situation and how we can give action and take action to improve our situation. Just one note on the content is that I felt it was a bit heavy and complicated. It had a lot of history, It had a lot of political background, a lot of economical background, which I find it personally hard to follow, and it might be a bit hard to follow as well for other people that are not too familiar with the socio-economical background. So I would suggest only to simplify it in the future. That's my only comment. So in conclusion, you excelled at your body language and your tonality. You could just improve your use of the stage. Your content was also very good, very well structured. You could just make sure to simplify it in the future. So thank you so much. Looking forward for all the other projects you will be giving. And back to you, General Evaluator. Suraya, you are muted. One. I unmuted.
Thank you, Mary Jo, for this very thorough evaluation. I will be giving you my evaluation in my report. So now let's start from the second evaluator for today. Help me welcome on stage Khalid Shatila.
My trusty mic. Ladies, gentlemen, fellow GE, fellow Toastmasters, and fellow Sarah. Sarah, I would like to start by saying congratulations. Congratulations on finally delivering your icebreaker. I am certain that we as an audience do know who you are right now. I will be dividing my evaluation into 3 parts: content, delivery, and points of improvement. You see, Sarah, you had a beautiful introduction, a beautiful body, and a beautiful finale. You indeed told us about every single detail, almost, about your childhood, teenagehood, college, and even almost workplace, which is kind of volunteering, which is in the Red Cross. And now for your content. You took us on a tour of your life, a joyful life where you told us about your grades, you told us about how you struggled and juggled both dual majors, and how you were, thank you, Sue, and how you were also volunteering with the Lebanese Red Cross and right now with Toastmasters. You also mentioned that you were stressed out from college and how volunteering made you understand how giving is the secret of living. And I, as a volunteer, I respect that and I understand that. Now for your delivery. Sarah, do you consider opening a vlog? Like for real, how about a YouTube channel? I'm serious, I am not sarcastic, I am completely, absolutely serious. Why don't you try opening a YouTube channel? Because the way you delivered your speech, it was almost a vlog. The way you held up your phone to your face while you were speaking, as if I was watching PewDiePie give his own vlog. You were great. It was lovely, it was a new it was a change, and that's great. Change is always good. Yet there's one thing that I dislike about recorded speeches, which are that they are recorded. There was a bit delay from internet connection and from the electricity issues, but that's okay. This is why you recorded it. And now for delivery. You had vocal variety. You had facial and the body language expressions, which were very obvious in your speech. And you did a good job in your voice tones, from raising up high pitches and low pitches for drama effects. And finally, for the things that I thought that you could improve for next time. Sarah, I want more emphasis. I want more emphasis. I want more emphasis on the things that you can emphasize on. See, I just gave you an example of emphasis. You need to emphasize on problems or on solutions or the things that you overcame in your speech. And you seemed a bit tense. You weren't exactly very relaxed while you're giving a speech. You were relaxed on camera, but I felt that you had multiple ideas coming and going, which as a viewer who was actively listening, I felt that she needs to take a breather and calm down, relax a bit. And finally, You have some 7 minutes, and I am a bit unorthodox, so 7 minutes and 30 seconds. So why did you only give out 5 minutes and a half? You could have taken a bit more time, but yet you are qualified for a speech. That's absolutely correct. Sarah, congratulations on finally delivering your icebreaker. I can't wait to see you more on stage. You did a wonderful job. I certainly feel that you have a bright future of speaking in front of you. Thank you for being part of Mercury. Back to you, Saraya.
So thank you, Khalid, for giving this very thorough evaluation. I will be also evaluating you in my section. Now it is time to hear our grammarian report for today. So help me welcome on stage no other than our grammarian, Karim Kahale. Karim, the stage is yours.
Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. So on to my grammarian report. Thank you, Manuel and Adiba, for using the word of the day, resonate, big applause. I did like a few sentences or a few compositions, like it is time to put up or shut up, or life is like a roller coaster. Now for a few comments I've got, so instead of saying volunteer in the Red Cross, volunteer at Red Cross, you've got one of the child, it's one of the children, the plural. You've got if I will marry, so usually you say if I will get married. Either marry someone or you get married. Understand about, you can simply say understand. You don't have to add for example, knowledge, just understand knowledge. Speak up what's in your mind. You can simply say, speak your mind. And finally, I just have one comment, which is, again, I'm not sure if it's a technical issue or microphone quality, but at one point, we weren't really able to hear the whole thing. But that's pretty much about it.
I think the internet broke at Beehive, so while we are waiting, if you could please vote for the best evaluator. Now the names are fixed. If anyone else is having an issue, please let me know. Also, please give feedback for our table topics master, Kamal, since the time weren't taken before, so we can take advantage of this time and give him some feedback. Okay, Suraya is back. Suraya, we can't hear you. I'm not sure if you're trying to speak.
Okay, so we'll take a few seconds to vote before I could give my detailed evaluation. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. Okay, perfect. So now it is time to give the report of the evaluation. Let me start with the Toastmaster of the evening first, because our SAA had several roles to be evaluated for. So Digan, thank you for choosing such a very interesting topic, especially that most of the people in the club are this topic. I have just a few points to for improvement for your role later on. So as you can see, we already started the meeting due to technical difficulties and all of that. So for next time, it is better about the theme, or you choose to ask the role takers their own opinion, or give them a question to answer, because somehow the meeting was a little bit long. So you can choose one of the two to implement in the meeting. As for the speeches, they were a little bit long for a Toastmaster session. The whole purpose of the Toastmaster of the evening is to organize the meeting more than give a speech. So usually we take more time in the speeches that we give in the prepared speeches evaluation, but for the Toastmaster of the evening, the theme is just an addition to make the meeting interesting, but it is better to stick to the timing rules of the meeting so that the meeting goes smoothly. As for our timer, the timer slash evaluator slash sergeant at arms, thank you so much, Khaled, for giving 3 roles in one meeting. And thank you, Bob, for being also the timer for today. I just love how we in this club are a team. We are really, truly a team. And this thing shows in times as this, when we are in need of one another, you really guys stand up for the roles and filling in the gap. SAA, you also introduced the rules, so thank you for that. As for our grammarian, your introduction was amazing. You are improving day by day, your confidence, the body language that you're using on stage, so great job on that. As for your leadership role, I loved how you were adapting yourself to the setting. Even though it wasn't a perfect setting, you're still adapting just to send you started waving it for me when I was speaking, so thank you for adapting yourself to fill the leadership role that you have. Our headmaster, Sarah, I love how you're really improving. You are much more confident on stage, you're using your body language freely, and the tips that you were giving, they were very relevant and they were very useful. For next time, a small thingy, and that is to stick to the timing rules of the role, because you had like 3 tips. So if you could use for example, one tip and elaborate on it within the timing rules of the role. But thank you so much for the relevant tips. I really think everybody benefit from it. Our table topic master, Kamal. You really gave an interesting session with interesting questions, and honestly, you are a great listener with active listening skills that are helping you to comment on every speaker after their speech. I would love to see you next time taking Toastmaster of the evening, because I think you are ready for it as a general evaluator and as your mentor. I think you are ready to take it. So I hope to see you next time as the Toastmaster of the evening. Now it's time to evaluate the evaluators. Khaled, where's Khaled? Let's start with Mary Jo. So Mary Jo, you gave a very balanced evaluation with relevant points. So good job on your evaluation. You're improving every week. I congratulate you on that. One thing that I would challenge you is to work on the timing rules, on the timing of the evaluation. So maybe you could restructure the evaluation and choose the relevant points that will help benefit the speaker the most. And you can give the rest of the evaluation after the meeting when we have more time. So you can elaborate on that later on. Now for Khaled, Khaled, you divided the evaluation. Previously, one of the evaluators commented that you need to divide the evaluations. I think it was you, Mary Jo. So you did actually implement that in your evaluation today. You divided it into content and delivery. And one thing that I would also like to challenge you for next time is that to pick the points that you want to evaluate, because at some point you had several points that you were talking about. So especially for a 2 to 3 minute speech, it's better to pick 2 to 3 points, 2 positives and 1 to improve, and have a summary of them. So this is for next time to improve. Now for general comments about the setting. Since today it was the first time that we have a physical meeting, semi-physical meeting. We had lots of technical difficulties. We had lots of people who couldn't make it to the meeting. So it was a little bit chaotic, but definitely we need to improve that. So one of the things that we could do is we could fix the setting in a way that we have an audience so that we don't have a lot of distractions. We had a lot of people, like not a lot of people, but the people who were here, they were moving around, and sometimes things were a little bit chaotic. We didn't know which laptops to use. So for next time, I would suggest we have like at least 3 laptops with us, 1 for the timer, 1 for monitoring, and 1 for screening. I would also suggest that we have a projector behind us, a speaker to hear the voice, and we keep this microphone. But all in all, I really loved how we collaborated together, the people in the physical meeting and those on the Zoom. Together we collaborated to pull this off for the first time. So hopefully next time we will have a better meeting. Hopefully the roads won't be closed and we'll be able to make it to the meeting. So thank you so much for bearing with me. I hope you benefit. If you have any more questions about your roles or your speeches, don't hesitate to talk to me at the end of the meeting. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Let's have Toastmaster Mary Jo sharing the results of voting first.
Okay, just before that, let me send the feedback to evaluate our, to give feedback for our GE and you didn't. One moment. The same one. Just let us take a few moments to give feedback for our general evaluator Suraya and for our Toastmaster of the evening, Digant Mital. And if you didn't write feedback for any other role taker, also feel free to write some feedback. Just a few seconds and I will announce the winners. Okay, hope you all gave some feedback. Now it's time for me to announce the winners. Hope you are all excited, show some thumbs and some excitement. So the best table topic speaker is, can you see my screen? Manuel Mendoza. Congratulations, Manuel. Hope you're able to see the screen. Best evaluator is myself. Congratulations to me. And best speaker is Sarah Hashem. Congratulations, Sarah, on giving your icebreaker and on being the best speaker. I really wish you the best for your future speeches. And that's it for me. I give back control to you, Digant, to conclude the meeting.
Friends, I have nothing more to say, but just one thing. My grandmother was one of the pioneers in women education in our province in India. And she always advocated one. I'm not empowering women. I'm not working for the success of a woman. I'm just working upon one thing, that each and every girl that is there in the vicinity deserves education. She always said one thing, that history has it. We say these days that woman is getting empowered. That means they were not having rights and they are getting empowered. But this is not the case. Take up the books of history. In past, there have been many incidents where women were strong leaders, where women even led the entire armies from the front itself. Just I'm sharing one incident that I happened to work with someone in Indian Armed Forces. And when around 20 years back there was a war going on, then that officer was posted to the war front. And there, woman was given the opportunity to serve in the medical corps for rescuing the wounded soldiers. Such was the dedication of those women soldiers in the medical corps that they used to say, "Sir, we don't need anything. We don't need luxurious bed, etc. We are happy to save the people, and just we can even sleep on the rucksack or even on the floor." Such was their dedication. But sad story was that few of the times the artillery shelling got them and they were not there anymore. But that was their dedication. So I am just concluding with these words that history has it, the history has it that woman has always been strong, and she has always been a live embodiment of dedication and leadership as well as inspiration. With this, let me hand over back the stage back to presiding officer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Digant. I will be closing the meeting because Suraya and the rest of the team from Beehive are heading home because of the road closures. So this is the end of our meeting. Thank you so much, Digant, for leading it. Thank you for everyone for joining us. I will be stopping the recording.